Welcome back, Monsketeers, to another Ragnarok Vloggentary. And today, let's go for a ride. Let's go under the sea for the journey of the Little Mermaid. Yeah, the ride title's in there somewhere. Look at that. That's just stunning. There we go. Under the sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid. See, told you. Told you it was in there somewhere. The outside aesthetic here is, pretty incredible. It's very elaborate. You know what I mean? Disney World always has really elaborate cues, but this is I don't know. I was pretty taken aback just how hard they went on the design of this cue, or like just the outside of the structure here. Because that building we saw at the beginning of the entrance, that's Prince Eric's castle. Would you call that a castle? I guess. Palace? Is it more of a palace?
What's that? Oh, your shoe?
What's the difference between a palace and a castle?
Here.
Is it just cultural? Dialogue, verbiage for the same thing? But look at this. This is one of those rides where when you walk the queue, you can tell that they had anticipated really long lines for this ride. But it's rarely that brutal of a wait. It's not a super long wait, at least the times that we've been on it. And, I'm going to say this, and this might be a little controversial, and it might not be a little controversial. I don't know. There might be a lot of people out there who feel the same way. But this ride, mechanically, has not aged well. You know what I mean? When you have rides out there like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, or the Frozen Ever After, is it called, over in Epcot, it's just very different. Kind of like Peter Pan, the animatronics, the scenes could use a really deep refurbishment, Yeah, and I don't mean that in any way of like trying to downplay the ride, but it's definitely they definitely can do better. Does that sound bad?
All right, here. Beanie. Bane.
Oh, sounds like Bane was running off. Bane, you say? Sounds so unlike him.
It'll do it.
Oh, man. And we're off in our shell buggy things, which are kind of like the ones in the seas with Nemo and friends. But I think the Nemo shells are a little bit better. Hey, Scuttle. See, Scuttle's not so bad. He's functioning pretty well. It's later on in the ride where it just kind of, well, you'll see. But all in all, a must ride, I would say. I would still say ride this ride if you're in Magic Kingdom, if you have the opportunity to. Maybe don't put it ahead of some of the other ones, but don't just ignore A little bit of animation there. But the frozen fish are just kind of, I don't know, a little cheap to me, I guess. So Ariel feels very robotic. And especially when you have that technology where they have the projector, like animated faces, this just feels, you know, a little out of date. And her hair being stuck like that, I don't know, man. It'd be nice to see her a little more technologically with the times. Like, her mouth is barely moving. Again, I'm not trying to rip this ride apart. It's just, The Little Mermaid's so iconic, and with how beautiful the outside of this ride looks, it's, I don't know, the grandiosity, is that a word? Of the outside just kind of makes the inside here feel a little lacklustery. Yeah. Anyhow. And then, like, look, the sea, like the frozen fish. I don't know. I just feel like, you know, make them kind of bob a little bit, make it seem like they're swimming, kind of. Because nothing sits that still in the ocean, or at least fish-wise. See, this is cool, as long as you don't look too far up. It's, if you look up in this room, you see all the stage lights and rigging and stuff, and it's just kind of takes you out of it a little bit. So don't stray from the the scenery around you. And here's another aerial that's just kind of a little stiff. And I don't know what you do about her hair. I feel like if you just made all of her head more animated-ish with like that projector technology. I don't know. They really nailed the underwater vibe for the Nemo ride, which is over at Epcot. So there aren't two competing underwater rides in the same park. Ursula's pretty good. But look at how much more movement she has compared to Ariel. And Ariel's supposed to be our star. Yeah, see, Ursula's got a lot of movement to her, and then we got the animation and her crystal ball. Yeah, that's awesome. But you're not riding the Little Mermaid ride for epic Ursula. You know, you want the whole ride to be on par with that one scene. There we go. We got a little more animation, so it's not unheard of on this ride. Although when you mix the animation with those like real stagnant aerial animatronics, they almost remind you how almost not aerial feeling the animatronic is. And Disney, you got the technology to actually make that real water coming out of those fish mouths, right? Man, I sound so critical. But maybe I'm just bitter. Maybe I'm just bitter because the outside is so stunning. And I feel like this could use some help. Again, especially with the other rides out there. This and Peter Pan, focus the refurbishment here. Any future major refurbishments, let's get this up to speed. King Triton's pretty fluid. But what are those lobsters doing out of the water up there? And what does that thing playing the horn? I don't remember that from the movie. Hey, Maney Maney. The fireworks are cool. Ariel was still kind of a little stiff. So I don't know. Parts of that ride are really cool, and then other parts are just kind of like, And the parts are almost accentuated by the other cool parts. You know what I mean? So, anyhow. Hope you still had fun, even with all my complaining.
Come on, Bubba. On my side.
And I promise, I really didn't mean to sound that critical of this ride. But it's honest. I'm just speaking the truth. And maybe one day this will be refurbished. And maybe this ride doesn't look that way anymore. But here's an archive of what it once was. Look how little Maverick looks there. Anyhow, LealLegacy.com, folks. Come on over. Scope it out. Like our podcast. Scope out our podcast. Available across all your favorite podcast platforms and our store. LealLegacy.com/shop. And we're available on all your favorite social media platforms. So give us a follow. And thanks for being a friend and telling a friend. See ya.